Hey everyone, with a week to go into the full release of FM23, we are looking to hopefully tick off one of the boxes of our objective here on fixing Juventus. Let's go. Yeah, hi everyone, TJ90 here. We have got, you have to forgive me a little bit, I'm going to have to do a little bit of explaining and a little bit of groveling. Got one game left. And I hope you'll understand why, and I hope you will see why. Now, let's start with it. Let's start with the elephant in the room. So you might be thinking, hang on, Tom, we last saw you when you played Leipzig and you got through. And we found out that we were playing Man City when the draw came out. So I was understandably a little bit perturbed by that revelation. But I thought, you know what, we'll give it a go. And we lost the first leg 2-0. So I was planning on bringing it back here for the second leg. And I thought, basically, I had an opportunity where I could literally just either plow through the season to get to this point, or I could wait, record the episode at a much later time. Meanwhile, not progress the save for a good sort of 3-4 hours. Knowing full well that the chances are the game... Well, okay, you know what? We did nearly pull off the impossible, and we did nearly manage to come back in quite a good game at home, where we beat City 3-2. I did think I could either just play it and then get through towards the real exciting stuff where it potentially has a bit more meaning, or sort of prolong the end of this season by like sort of 2-3 days. As it is, I'm really, really sorry. I chose to plow through. And like I said, we did nearly come back against City, and I would have felt very, 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 very guilty if I hadn't have done it live, if we had have done. But as it was, yeah, we got knocked out 4-3 on aggregate in the quarters by Man City, and it's a Man City-Liverpool final, believe it or not. In terms of the Coppa Italia, the more eagle-eyed of you will notice that we lost the first leg away from home 4-1. Complete and utter capitulation towards the end of the game, with... Napoli scoring 2 goals in the 79th and the 81st minute due to some poor defending and poor goalkeeping. We then, after the City game, we then lost 2-1 to Inter after going 1-0 ahead. It was 1-1 before Mukhtar Diakabi got sent off for 2 yellow cards, and Inter summarily punished us with getting a winner 2 minutes later. We then had a really unlucky result after we'd just beaten City against Hellas Verona, where we lost 1-0. It wasn't a proper FMing, but we did properly dominate them, and their keeper, to be fair to him, had a blinder. It was just one of those where nothing you do is going to go in. So we did actually beat Napoli 4-3 at home in the second leg of the Coppa Italia, but obviously that meant that we lost 7-5, so yeah, not enough. Since then, we've done okay. We did draw 1-1 with Atalanta. Unfortunately, this finishing run against Atalanta, Lazio and Milan to basically decide the title, got off to a great start with injury to Vlahovic, which means he's basically out for the rest of the season. So we've been having to rely once again on Kaya Jorge and Moise Kean. And to be fair to them, they've actually done all right. Kaya has got 5 goals in 7 league starts. And Moise has got something like... 11 goals and 14 league starts. So they've actually done quite well for us, to be fair. And someone else who has filled in quite admirably in that role is Federico Chiesa, playing as the advanced forward on the just on either side, basically. And someone who's been a little bit hit and miss in and out of form has been Emil Forsberg, playing as the Trequartista. So he did really well against Roma. And then he kind of didn't really do anything for a while. Elif Elmas, he's been playing there. He did okay. And then he had a shocker. I think it was against... Might have been against Atalanta. In fact, it was against Atalanta. He just kept getting caught in possession. In fact, he gave the ball away, which led to Pasalic scoring the winner. Basically, he just got caught too long on the ball, so we took him off at half-time. A player who has really underperformed lately has been Angel Di Maria. So we're probably just going to stick with Forsberg in what is, everyone, a winner-takes-all match in the Serie A. We're 2 points behind Milan at the top of the table, but most importantly, we are going to the San Siro on the last day of the season, where if we win the title. So it's all to play for. Probably do a bit of well, I wouldn't necessarily do big match prep because we don't want to be worrying too much. It's not like we're going to have a penalty shootout, but we will be looking at doing some extra training. So I think we're going to focus on attacking corners, defending. We already know we're not got any defensive training set up at the moment. And maybe, you know what we'll do? We'll do some one-on-ones just to try and get the strikers to work on their sharpness. I don't really think I need to focus too... you know what? Yeah, we will leave it on that. And we will do some... Are we doing any attacking shadow play? Yeah, we are. And we will do some aerial defense because they tend to be playing quite a... I think they're either playing Zlatan or Giroud up top, so they'll probably be relying on their aerial prowess. One thing I have actually neglected to discuss with you, is we did get a 55 million transfer budget, and we pretty much already spent it all, so that hopefully all our signings will join in perfect timing to get them all bedded in before the new season starts. So we moved to make the most of our Champions League status and signed Brandon Soppi from Atalanta. He's someone who's comfortable playing either on the right or the left side of defence, with Alexandro and Juan Cuadrado not exactly getting any younger. And then De Sciglio and Kostic all being 30. We wanted to try and really freshen up that fullback position with someone who's athletic, comfortable playing both sides, got decent mentals, decent base technical ability, and hopefully Brandon Soppi will be that person. We found a wonder kid, Lucas Gorna-Duarte, who is hopefully going to join us from Salzburg, but will probably stay for the season on loan at Salzburg, because one area we are going to be really overstaffed in is central midfield, and I'll show you that in a bit. So he will hopefully continue his development at Salzburg for another season while we trim our midfield down. Because we have got Juan Ignacio Nardoni joining, who is someone we signed in the summer. And we have got Manuel Locatelli, who is also joining. Gabriel Menino is joining, who's someone who can obviously play either right back or defence. So he is hopefully going to add a little bit of versatility into our squad depth. Moises Caicedo, Brighton got relegated, so we made the most of that and snapped him up for 37.5 million. He is someone who we really see being a good future in that midfield role. He'll probably be our first choice sort of go-to ball-winning midfielder or box-to-box midfielder or something similar. Arda Güler is someone we're bringing in from Fenerbahce. He has not got great physicals, but I have seen some screenshots of his development and they definitely do improve, but he is incredible technically and mentally. So he is going to stay at Fenerbahce for the season, continue his development, playing first-team football, hopefully, before he joins us in the summer. And then Moise Kean is a signing done before we even got here. He's joining from Everton as part of his loan deal. Cristiano Ronaldo we know about is joining for free. And then we've got Nicolo Tresoldi is joining from Hanover, an 18-year-old Italian striker. So hopefully that'll tick a little board and supporter criteria of signing Italian players. He's a young player. He's looks like he's got really good base stats already for his age. So hopefully he's someone which, even if he never develops into anything elite, we can sell him on for decent money. So I was talking about our midfield. So we are mainly going to be going with the 5-2-3, 5-3-2, whichever way you want to look at it, going forwards. So if we look at midfield, you'll notice we have got 17 players there. Some of them obviously are out on loan, and some of them won't necessarily be joining straight away, like Nardoni and Güler. Menino's not joining till January, I don't think, anyway. And then we've got a lot of players out on loan: Zakaria, Rivea, Ranocchia, Villa, and Ihataren. But Ihataren is more of a winger, but we will probably look to move him on anyway. I don't really think he's got a future at this club. He's just not good enough, unfortunately. Ranocchia is also probably the same. I don't think he'll ever really amount to anything of any great significance, unfortunately, for him. Certainly not to a standard where he'll be playing regularly. Rivea, on the other hand, probably will stay around the team. I would expect him to be certainly a very versatile player going forwards. Zakaria, again, we'll probably look to let him go. He's got decent attributes, but he's no better than people we don't already have in that position, like Weston McKennie. And his place in the team would sort of stifle Moretti and Fagioli, to be fair, who I'd probably rather try and develop them, because they've got, if anything, they've either got a higher ceiling or a higher sort of sell-on value, just because they're a little bit younger. Arthur, I haven't decided what we're going to do with him yet. He's obviously got the class to be a really good, useful player for us. I just don't know what he's going to perform like in this game, in this simulation. Pogba has been very up and down. His average rating is what, 6.81. Don't get me wrong, he's only made 16 appearances, 7 of them from the bench. But I'm not convinced on his long-term future at the club, ability-wise. He's certainly got, attributably, he's got the ability. I've just not been that impressed by him. And when he's commanding 170k a week, when we're already, don't get me wrong, the board have given us a decent wage budget. But when we're already a club in some, in quite a bit of financial difficulty, I don't want to be paying 175k a week on a player who I don't think he's 30 for a start. So he's not really the future of that midfield role for us. Although obviously this is a relatively short-term save, hopefully. He's not really the future, I don't think, for the club. I think there'll be younger players out there who can do the same job he does, but better. On the eve of such a massive game. Oh, by the way, if you can hear like a low buzzing noise, it's one of my cats is purring away on my lap. So, it was youth intake. So this was the keeper we got. He was 15, and he has got 4-star potential with possible for 5 stars. Now, he looks a great shot stopper, and he's very tall. But he's got a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong, he's 15. He's got a good few years before we'd even potentially consider start blooding him in the first team. But, this was the main guy we got. A lot of the others weren't that great, really. This guy, Thomas Green, is a fullback. Who looks good defensively, but we'll see. Again, they're all quite young, but nothing stellar, nothing that really fills me with great enthusiasm. But as it is, it's time for the title showdown. Now, we did do one final little bit of transfer business, and that was that we exercised our option to buy Alexis Sailormakers for 16 mil with 2.5 mil in installments. So he is going to join in the summer. And that should tie in quite nicely because Cuadrado's only got a year left on his contract, and we will probably let that run down. So hopefully Sailormakers and Soppy will step in quite nicely to that role, which will that space which will be vacated by Cuadrado. Now we've got a few players back from injury who we can start reintegrating into the squad. We deliberately stopped playing Paredes because he had he needed to make so many appearances before we had to sign him as part of his loan deal from PSG. So we just stopped playing him so we wouldn't have that. And then in terms of what else we're going to do, obviously we do have an option to buy for Forsberg, but I don't think we're going to excise it because I think that we will be able to keep Kulusevski, who has had, I'm just going to tilt my camera forward, who has had a good season, as you would expect, on loan at Spurs, but they haven't qualified for the Champions League. So he should be coming back. So I don't think we'll bother trying to sign Forsberg, just because I don't think we will need him, basically. That's my cat jumping down off my lap and disconnecting my headphones because my headphones need charging, so I'm having to use the aux jack for them. So I think we do go with Bonucci because it's Bonucci. He's not been brilliant, to be fair, but he is Bonucci. And Antonio Silva has been playing very, very well, to be fair. So I think we go with him, maybe controversially, over Diakabi. And Locatelli and Pogba have been doing quite well in that midfield too, so we'll stick with them. And we'll stick with Kostic and Sailormakers because Alexandro hasn't been brilliant. I really would have expected a little bit more from him. Maybe I'm being a little bit disrespectful to someone who's been sort of performing at a relatively high level for so long in the game. But maybe I just had that perception of him that he would probably be a lot better than he has been. So that's the team we're going to go with, everyone. Everyone, I'll be honest with you, even though the board and the fans wanted us to challenge or try and win this Serie A, I didn't think we'd manage it in our first season, and we've actually put ourselves in a position where You know, if we win this, don't get me wrong, it's no easy feat winning against the reigning champions at their home ground. But if we were to get a win here against Milan, we would win the title. I like to think that because we achieved the other two objectives of reaching the quarterfinals of the Champions League and just being competitive in the Coppa Italia, that the board and the fans would be happy enough with that, that our job wouldn't be at risk. But I've seen a lot of other football managers on various forums get sacked for a lot less. I am just going to just add a few little instructions just for some of these players. Sailormaker's been booked already. How has he managed that? Now, Inter are winning. That's fine. We don't mind Inter winning because it doesn't change the fact that we need to win. Now, don't get me wrong. The fans and the board want us to try and finish it. Well, the fans want us to finish above Inter. But, you know, obviously for us, the main thing really is just focusing purely on this game. And we're just going to completely ignore what is going on in that Inter Torino game. Yes, Antonio, come on. Oh. Oh, and Leao makes it 1-0, and that is not at all what we needed. He got completely free then. So Antonio tackles Brahim. And it's Sailormakers who doesn't follow him in. So I think we're going to just put him onto just a regular wing back. Quadrado is good as a complete wing back because he's very attacking and he does do so well going forwards. And it's 2-0. Literally just making that change for Kaya Tomori makes it 2-0. We've got it all to do. All to do, everyone. Oh, that's terrible. That's woeful. We could do with trying to get at least one goal before half time. Give ourselves any hope. Here's Kyoke, Sailormakers. What is that? Right, he can come off at half time. Like he's been shocking. He's already on a yellow card. He's gifted Leao a chance to score, and he's just blazed that wide. The only reason we didn't start Quadrado is just because he's just not fully fit yet. He's just been injured. I honestly thought that was going to go flying in then. Kostic also having a poor game. Yes, Bremer, do something good. That's not something good. That's terrible. Why did you do that? That's Bremer, man. He gives the ball away and then he completely mistimes his header. And now we're 3-0 down at 40 minutes and pretty much any chance of winning the title is gone. It's sinking without a trace. Oh, well, 2 goals from 2 defensive mistakes. Kostic is having a shocker. Basically, everyone has just not turned up at all. That's a great save from Szczesny. So let's just keep it at 3-0. Didn't think we'd actually potentially come close to conceding a 4th. Making a raft of changes. The reason we're keeping Kostic and Bonucci on is because I don't want to make too many changes and leave myself short later on. But Forsberg is coming off for Di Maria. Quadrado is coming on and Nacho is coming on for Bremer. We've just got to hope that we can get an early goal and put a bit of save a bit of face. Put the pressure on. And we have just told the players to play slightly narrow because we were just really struggling to get through. But Milan have just absolutely torn us to shreds in that first half. And it's just so terrible. Payme it. Thank you, Szczesny. I'm just going to make him an attacking libero just to try and supply a bit more support into the midfield. Thank you, Locatelli. Oh, that's a wicked goal from Tonali. Absolutely wicked strike. Shocking defending. Who is marking Teo Hernandez? No one. Just allowed to pick the ball up and just drive forward. And we are just going to make those changes now. Can't get much worse as it is. Chiesa will come on. Why would you do that there? Pass the ball. Why are you shooting from there? That's never going to go in when you've got a player right in front of you. Climbing into a box. This is karma, isn't it, for me skipping two of those games, the City game. Absolute drubbing to ruin any chances of getting a trophy first season. I mean, to be fair, Di Maria makes it 4-1 in his final game for the club before he goes to Liverpool. To be fair, though, we could have made this better for ourselves going forwards because we did have some dodgy results against the likes of Hellas Verona and other teams. But yeah, considering when we started, when we were in like September, we were, in sort of 11th, 12th. I think we did quite well to bounce back, but this we should have done a lot better than this. We had a team meeting before and everyone was all fired up and ready to go, and they've just not turned up at all. Just got to hope that the signings that are coming in and with a settled tactic at the start of the season, hopefully everyone can just hit the ground running and we can build up some momentum and get some really good results on the board early so that we're not relying on having to try and beat such a good team as Milan on the last day of the season. That's a disgusting goal. Disgusting ability-wise and disgusting in terms of the lack of defending from my team. Panucci is definitely on his way out. He's been really poor in the second half of the season, to be fair, but I thought this is a big game and I want his leadership on the pitch. And he's just spat in my face, basically, with a subpar performance. We actually rejected bids from him in January from like Real Madrid, but they were only for like 2.5 mil. I just didn't see the point in selling him for that when I could do with him at the club. He's so influential. The injury to Vlahovic was a big one as well, to be fair. He gives us so much. (5-1) to Milan. 5-1. Not over yet. Shocking. So Milan win the championship on the last day of the season as they slaughter us. Some really, really terrible performances. Really terrible performances. I mean, despite that, we still do actually have a C+ from the board and a B- from the fans. So, could have been a lot worse. I think we should be okay in keeping our job. It's secure. So I think really we've got to look at, hopefully the signs we're bringing in, hopefully we can build for the future a bit better. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with some of these players. I really am not sure. That coming back. You know, look at that Arta, 125k per week, and we could potentially get 10 million for him. Pogba, I'm really not convinced. I think PSG would probably take him off us. You know, he had another poor game there. If you look at his form over the last few weeks, you've got 6.3, 7.4 against Lazio, to be fair, 7.5 against Atalanta, 6.7 there, but then 6.7, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.8. You know, don't get me wrong, he's steady, but I would expect better, really. And with some of the players who've got coming in, Elmas hasn't been brilliant, to be fair. He's certainly not really proved worth the outlay. I think he's not done terribly, but, you know, he's still young. But, yeah, it's a tough one, really. What have we got any interest in any of the players that we would potentially look to sell? I think I would quite happily sell Bremer because he was pants in some ways. He's at fault for a lot. He was at fault for a lot in that game. Massive wages as well. Chiesa's wanted. I would consider selling him for a decent bid because in the tactic we use, we don't use wingers. And I can't really see that changing. I like him, but I just can't see us ever, you know, I can't see us using him that much. I would be open to selling Sandro. I do not want to sell Yildiz. Fagioli, I don't want to sell him. You know what? If Barca or Madrid want to give us a decent sum for Cuadrado, considering he's only got a year left, I'd let him go. He's a good player, but you know what? If we can free up some wages and bring someone else in, that's fine. Bonucci is just on the wane, and he's just really good to have around because he's such a leader. But 200k a week, a lot of money. In terms of anywhere else, who's this guy? Alex Gibson. I don't know why he's appearing. Let's see. Shortlist. Let's just go on the shortlist for now. And let's just look at centre half. Bulla, Gabbia, we've all looked at. Gabbia won't be good enough. Scalvini would be an obvious one. Let's see, how much would they accept from now? We had to pay quite a bit from last time. 38 to 48 mil. I'd happily take Scalvini. Class. And he's Italian, so he ticks quite a few boxes for us. Alex Royal is someone who came up, but I don't really know much about him. He looks like he could be decent, but whether he's any better than what we already have. Same as Jakub Kivior. Again, probably a decent rotation option, but that'd be about it. Modu Tambedu, no. Shidai Bichiabu, still young, but not great. He's just a mammoth player, Bichiabu. Right wing back. So obviously we've got Selemakers, we've got Soppy. DeShilio we are probably going to sell. He's in talks with a couple of clubs. Malagusto could be an option, but again, it's a substantial chunk of money when we've already got 16 mil on Selemakers and Brandon Soppy coming in. I don't want to be spending a load of money on a third choice right back. Yeah, it's tough, everyone. It is tough. It's a lot to do to try and bridge that gap. More for the elite. I think we could quite. I think if we didn't have that slow start that we had at the start of, you know, the slow start at the start of the season. Obviously, if we didn't have the slow start last season, I think we'd have walked the league in the end. Because I think certainly once we got things running properly, you know, if we look at the schedule from, we go all the way back to the start. So here, obviously, we were a little bit rocky. And then you go to, I think it's about here. You know, we lose. Let's filter that for league. I just wanted to filter this area. We go from November, we drop 3 points, 2 points, 8 points, 10. 13 points we dropped, basically, from October onwards. 12 points we dropped across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 games? No, that can't be right. Yeah, no, maybe that is right. Yeah, because we played 12 games up until the World Cup. So yeah, across 30 games, so from 90 points we dropped 13. That's 87? No, that's not right. Ignore me. But yeah, from a possible 60 points we dropped 13. No, I'm chatting rubbish. Ignore me, everyone. Ignore me, everyone. I've had a busy day in work. I'm tired. But yeah, that's not a bad return. That's what? 77 points or something like that, is it? That can't be right because there's no way we're on 6 points. My brain is breaking. Everyone is deciding that it just doesn't work anymore. Oh, because some of them were draws as well. I probably messed up. My maths is probably way off, everyone. I'm probably way out. I'm probably chatting rubbish. My point is, we were in really good form once we settled. And we had, 4 losses in that whole entire time. So, yeah, 12 points dropped from the 4 defeats. 16 points we dropped. That's it. 16 points. 2 draws, 4 losses. So, one of them was against Hellas Verona. Inter Milan, we probably won't lose that if Diakari doesn't get sent off. We probably beat Atalanta if we've not got Vlahovic injured. This game against Sampdoria, we had 20 shots, 10 on target. They had 2 shots, 2 on target. Cremonese was a shocker. Again, poor performance. Again, finding our feet. I think with the settled tactic, I think we walk the league. It's the Champions League we've got to make the step up for. I've waffled on with some shocking maths to finish off this episode. I will see you all next time. Anyone you want me to look at, obviously there's the obvious ones, there's Endrick. But with the way development is in the game at the moment, I don't know how well he is going to develop if we were to sign him. Does he even want to come? Not interested at the moment. Because he's too young still. But yeah, I've seen some people, he does well, but he just doesn't develop well because the development in the game is still broken. Hopefully they'll get it fixed for next week. I'm toying with the idea of announcing the main save, potentially with the first episode, actually on the day of release. Let me know if you want me to do the 2 series alongside each other, because I think we might potentially need 3 seasons for the Champions League here with Juve. Potentially even more, depending on how we get on with our signings and how we get on with the club status in general. Yeah, if you want me to be starting the main series, probably for the whole cycle of FM23, I'm not going to do what I did last year, where I had Dortmund, Pentagon, Everton, basically sort of having the 2 saves at once. I just want to be able to focus on the one, because I've tried reinstalling FM22, everything, it just won't work. So as it stands, the Pentagon is gone. I can't play it at the moment. So I think, unfortunately, all that time we spent, 40-odd episodes, we got to Santos Laguna, we were looking like we were going to be in good money, potentially, for getting our first Champions League. Looks like that was all a waste of time, everyone. All a waste of blood, sweat and tears trying to get there. The sacking at Hebe, the highs of beating Man City 4-0 with Malmo. Looks like it's all gone because FM22 just doesn't want to work. So, yeah. Very frustrating, and I can only apologise. It's completely out of my hands. But yeah, let me know if you want the main save to come out next week. If not, I will bring it out once we finish the Juve one. Take care, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. See you all next time at the start of Season 2 here on Fixing Juventus. Bye for now.